affiliation is University of Wisconsin, Madison, and the Modum Bad Psychiatric Center in Norway.
And your presentation today?
Was called What Makes Psychotherapy Work? The Humanistic Elements. Basically, we know psychotherapy works, but we know very little about how it works. So the essence of the presentation is to look at what makes psychotherapy work. And I present a model of how it works that involves 3 different pathways. So then I present the evidence for the 3 pathways, which are the real relationship, expectations created through explanation of the treatment, and the patient's belief in the treatment method, and finally the specific actions that the therapist helps the patient. The thesis is that it's the humanistic elements, that psychotherapy works as a humanistic endeavor. I don't think that makes me a humanistic psychology in kind of a classical sense. You know, I got to where I am by working with people. I mean, I think if you're observant, and both of the people you work with, but of the research literature, it becomes clear about the importance of the interpersonal relationship in psychotherapy. When we say humanistic psychology, you know, we tend to think about some of the luminaries and the history of that. But people are talking about the importance of social relationships and empathy in everyday life. And they're not using the term humanistic psychology, but it's there. A good therapist is the therapist who achieves good outcomes. Okay.
Right.
We tend to think, oh, that's a good therapist. Well, I don't really care about anybody's opinion. I don't want to see, do they actually help patients? Okay. So what makes a good therapist, what we know so far, is facilitative set of interpersonal skills. Okay. Empathic, warm, can read and express emotion intentionally, focus on the patient, the ability to form an alliance with particularly difficult patients, and then some professional behaviors like being able to recognize that psychotherapy is a difficult endeavor to practice, and it takes deliberate work, just like basketball players or chess players or musicians. To get better, you have to practice intentionally particular skills to understand how difficult psychotherapy practice is and dedicate a career to actually achieving commendable outcomes with patients. And that means examining what you do, both in terms of the outcome, but in terms of your skill level to achieve that. So all the great masters in any area practice, practice, practice.